Well, what a beautiful day for a beautiful day. If you feel that way, it's always you, 100% that is in your way. I'm Tracy A. Martin, hypnotherapist practitioner, life guide intuitive at Opening Doors Productions. Dreamer Divine, my co host, would you like to say some words to all our viewers today?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this, rainy day here. We definitely need the moisture for everything to grow beautifully. So, yeah, can't wait to hear all these questions that were sent in and get some help breaking through them.
Awesome. So, yeah, we are episode 14. It's hard to believe that we've already been playing in 14 podcasts so far. If you're new to joining, go to Opening Doors Productions on YouTube. You could subscribe and take a look through all the plethora of episodes that are there on purpose. I do not have anything to do with what it's about because I want you to be led by your heart, not by your mind. Many people will see a word, they're either triggered by it or nothing. And when you're totally attracted magnetically to an episode, there's a reason because there's words in it for you. So I hope that this helps very much because many people are saying, why don't you have titles on what they're about? How about you go in and discover by sitting in? So take it away, Dreamer Divine. What is the first question today?
So, our first question is from Dean. Hi, Tracy. My name is Dean, and I have a question if you can help me break through somehow. My wife is completely asleep spiritually and totally playing 3D. I'm no longer in love with her at all. In fact, I have zero interest as we have nothing in common. I don't know how to begin the leaving process and how to tell her. I love her, but do not want to be with her any longer. Please help.
Okay, Dean, thank you very much for this question as you are not alone. I've had many people that I've had in my chair that I've talked with that a lot of people that are feeling this way, where there is a true division and it's on purpose. The first thing I want everyone to know is we're not here to change anyone. We're not here to save anyone. We're not here to help anyone because neither of those can we do. We can only love them. And Dean, I see that you do love her, but absolutely when there is zero interest, zero in common, and you are on your 5D path, your wife isn't. And again, she could be on her 30,000th life and you're on your millionth life. And that is what we know through the process of the densities that we evolve through from first to second, second to third, which is what we're in now. And those who are resonating more into the fourth density or fifth dimension and higher are going to be very attracted to what people call the awakening. And so what I'd like to do is get rid of the definitions that 3D has put on things to put it into a box or a group, and just know absolutely that divinely you signed a contract with your beautiful wife that would get you to a certain stage. We're all in teach, learn, teach all the time. But the number one thing I want to be very, very clear with, and thank you for, Dean, is knowing you know that your happiness, that your respect for your honor for yourself is utmost importance. And on this 3D plane, the way that they have played out the whole marriage scenario or all of those ideas of what relationships are, we do not want a broken home. How many people are living a life of hell because they believe they have to stay married because of some kind of sanctity idea of some kind of judgment that has been put on you. So Dean, knowing that you love her and do not want to hurt her is a 5D aspect. Wanting to deserve your worth and to live in a place that you honor who you are and where you're going is very, 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 very worthy. Is there any way to say goodbye that isn't going to hurt? There's no such thing, because it's always the person who already knows they're leaving that has that heads up, that have worked through it and broke through things to get to that decision. The person that it's happening to, it will always, always have more of a reaction. But Dean, have you actually communicated with your wife? Or have you just been silently holding on to it inside, building up, building up, building up, building up? So the first key, again, in all forms of relationships really is communication. Honesty is our greatest policy always. The second part to this is knowing that it better not be done by a text or a letter or anything other than the two of you one-on-one, face-to-face. There can be many stages that lead up to it, Dean. And when we are part of our journey, the person who you've decided is very 3D could wake up in a moment, could suddenly break through in a moment. And so if you were to first try to communicate with her, to let her know that you're seeing the two of you growing in separate places, that it gives her a chance to grow with you or not. And this is the biggest part that's happening, is the segregation or separation that people are feeling within their relationships. And it's because they're so opposite of where they are on the scale. So let go of awake or not awake. But obviously we know she's been very much led in the place of fear because of all the lies and manipulation and deceit that's been happening. But Dean, this was happening with you for a very, very long time until some type of catalyst suddenly had you start to critically think that something wasn't right here, whether it was on a mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual plane. And we're playing in all four all the time. And many of us, I see in the consciousness, are lying to themselves. And so Dean, again, I'm so very grateful that you are asking this question, because many of you here are pretending that you are happy, that you are fulfilled, that this is the man of your or woman of your dreams, and you're lying to yourself, because many of you do have opposing views going on, and it has been very hard. And I know the very, very one root reason why many people haven't left is because of finance. Plain and simple. This is the reason why many people end up in a business relationship instead of a loving, supportive, caring, unconditional relationship, where that's where growth always gets to happen, is when we're growing and supporting and loving each other. And because many people know they can't do it on their own, or they're so scared to be alone or do it on their own, they settle. So again, Dean, the fact that you know that you're at that breaking point, which is the breakthrough, you know that being honest with yourself, which is what you did to finally come to this realization. Number two, knowing there's nothing you can do other than stand from the place of love and honesty and truth and integrity in that communicating with your wife. That goes for everybody out there. Is it going to hurt? You don't know. You don't know if your wife is feeling the same way, and that when you guys both start to communicate, that you may end up better friends out of the relationship than you were when you were in it. And that happens a lot because there's no longer an expectation put on the two of you or an obligation. You don't know which way it's going to go because guess what? You cannot control it because you can't control another person. You can't even control how most people learn to respond because they're busy in reaction. And so if you need to start with writing a letter first to convey your feelings first, for her to listen to, Dean, to start breaking through, knowing that you're not happy, that you know, your feelings that come out on paper, if that's something that's easier for you, Dean, or if you're the guy to pull the bull by the horns and just say, we need to talk. Communication is the key no matter what. I've had so many relationships feel so very destroyed because someone walked away and absolutely just left without saying a word, or left the Dear Abby or Dear John letter or the text message because they didn't have the balls after how many years of being in love and having respect for each other to become the coward and not be able to face what it is that you really want to do. That is living in an adulting where we actually communicate and are there as the respectful person you are respecting. How would you want to be told? How would you want to be treated? This is the easiest way to help within any relationship. And so I want to take this a little further because many of you out there, the reason that you don't have communication is because of the broken mind trap that has you believing in confrontation. And this has become such a massive, massive zombie apocalypse because of the beautiful text message and when emails first started coming out, because people started conveying their truth without having to speak it eye to eye with someone. And many people can't even look at each other eye to eye anymore because they're too busy looking down, because they've become covered in fear that instead of communication, it's confrontation. And this is the paradox that most people have been working in. But we know the moment you realize the love of communication, that it becomes the first step and it just becomes easier and easier. So are both of you in a relationship where you can communicate? Possibly not. My husband is not a communicator. And so I am the communicator, but I do not allow there not to be a communication. So there's always someone that starts the ball rolling. And depending on who you are, if you are triggered or reacting, is how the communication always starts. But in a relationship, there is never a fight. That is you going to fight, flight, or freeze. When you are standing in your heart, Dean, and you are speaking from here of what is true to you that needs to come out and be relayed, your heart will just guide you. How she's going to perceive it is none of your business. It really isn't. And whatever frame of mind she is in is how she's going to take those words. But you will have that closure the moment you're able to speak it, because you have this crescendo happening right now in your energy, Dean, where you have all these what ifs, and you're becoming the hamster wheel instead of the right time is the exact time when you choose to speak to her. And the sooner the better, and you move on from there. Now, most men love to see the bottom right hand number. It's all about money or finance, and that's part of the logical mind. And in your energy, Dean, I see that it's a little different because you are in more of a place of understanding, and that it's not about mine or hers or ours. It's a matter of balance and harmony, and knowing that the two of you created this relationship and built this queendom and kingdom together. And so therefore it's easier to understand that there's going to be a separation of assets. There's going to be a separation of things. And the greatest thing, Dean, with you that I'm so proud of you for is it doesn't matter to you because your happiness does. And this is the key of the 5D state that we're coming into. Many people, if you are all to have been awarded, let's say, $1.2 million overnight, how would that change your relationship status? Knowing that that person is totally taken care of and that they can totally take care of themselves. This is one of the greatest assets right now for people to take a look at, that if they had more than enough finance to take care of themselves, would they still be in the relationship or the relationships that they are in, which isn't just in a marriage with your husband or wife. It can be with relatives. It can be with your boss or employee, other people that are part of you making money or to support yourself or to support others. So I would love all of you to sit in it to see what it is, because the moment that you see what enslavement has done on purpose, that have kept so many broken relationships in the same household, which has then been teaching our children brokenness and settling and unhappiness. This becomes your idea of love and what love is not, and that is what your children end up in, because it is just the program in the subconscious mind that starts running it. So, Dean, I hope that these words for you to sit in help, that the communication is what it is. And if you are, if the two of you, when you've communicated, if you need some form of mediator, medium, some kind of life guiding, if she's open, we're here. Just contact me from openingdoorsproductions.com. And Dean, I look forward to you moving forward right here, right now, creating your reality now. We wish you the greatest happiness. Dreamer Divine, is there something that you would like to say to Dean?
Just wanted to say, Dean, that it takes a lot of courage to come forward and realize, to not repeat a habit or a cycle over and over because you feel that that's something you need to do. And then in that sense, it becomes an obligation. And when we feel obligated to do something only because of that word, then it definitely keeps us in a hamster wheel trap of a repeat Groundhog Day. And then we're no longer living for ourselves because we're obligation to something or someone else. So I'm super proud of you for having this realization and this massive breakthrough, and asking for help, which is also huge, and to help you break through and move forward. And I wish you and your wife the most beautiful journey of happiness, whether it be together, whether it be apart, whatever you decide.
Thank you so much, Dreamer Divine. It's a big thing for a lot of people that they're sitting in right now. And my words to you are, quit lying to yourself. Be honest and truthful. And that is the very beginning stages of the next part of reality that you're creating for yourself, that each and every one of you deserves to be honored, respected, loved, cherished. And it has to start with you. Dreamer Divine, is there any words you'd like to say to the viewers regarding this question before we go to the next?
One of the biggest things around relationships is deciding if the relationship is a one-way street or if it's a two-way street. And if you feel that you're not supported or you're not heard or loved, and it's just you just emptying from your cup constantly all the time, then there is obviously a problem, because any relationship should both be coming from a place of love and wanting to communicate and enrich each other's lives and help each other grow to be the person that they're supposed to be. So I just would like to say, follow your heart no matter what.
Great words, Dreamer Divine. So, what is our next question?
So our next question is from Kara. And Kara, I'd like to say that absolutely I feel this, and a lot of you feel this on so many levels. We're all in the same page. Um, so it says, okay, I hope I don't piss too many people off, but here it goes. I am so over all of this zombie bullshit. I'm over all the lies on every media outlet. I'm over the so called white hats being in control, yet allowing many to be killed and used. Is it just me? Tracy, what can you tell me to help me out of this funk? Kara.
Well, isn't that a loaded question? This is thank you, Kara, because boy, are there a lot of people feeling what you're feeling. It's the collective consciousness feeling that total chaos ready for the volcano to erupt, and everyone's feeling it there. Some of us have broken through it and know all is well because we know love is one. And many that are continually dipping their toe into 3D, into the matrix of the illusion, of the lies, the deceit, the baiting, the waiting. This is why you're over it. And because you have no control, because you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes, as the beautiful woman that you are, number one, Kara, I want to thank you because this is what many people are feeling, and you had the guts and the glory to bring it out. And again, everyone sees right here, there is no question that we will not answer for you in the best way that I know how, as Dreamer Divine will give her words. What can I say to you right now, Kara, is yeah, you're feeling all those things. But either you are feeding the illusion by becoming angry, mad, and playing in the distortion, or you're vibing through it as the observer looking outside of it and really just witnessing it. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there is a lot of stuff that has been happening. And that there has been a lot of lives that have been saved. And unfortunately, I'm just going to bring it out because I understand the neural networks of how the brain works. And we know that all of the media outlets have been, by design, there to be the handler, or what we will call the person playing the puppet strings. We know, yes, that when all this shit show happened, had who we believe are the good guys that supposedly are in control, had they taken down the media and absolutely every form that was lying, creating the distortion, baiting, and harming, and creating those crimes against humanity on every level, many people would have woke up. Because when you are severely brainwashed, your handler will always be the one that they are looking to. And that's why you see everybody glued to their televisions, believing every lie, every manipulation. But there's many of you who believe you're awake who are still believing every lie and manipulation because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so the greatest thing I can say to you, Kara, is believe everything and believe nothing and live your life right now. The only way you can create now is by being here right now. Every time you go into Telegram and all those other truth informations, there's a ton of people that are still baiting you to wait. What are they doing this for? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing on the physical plane that are going to bring those changes through. We know that on the etheric level or the spiritual level, that we are all waiting for the flash, the sheen, the event, whatever word that you have given it, that is about the Christed consciousness flash, that until that happens, there is nothing else in the background other than the waiting game. We cannot have the true QFS coming through until that happens, because the dark of the dark have to fully be taken. This is why many of you are so sick and tired, because this isn't your first time here. This is a big reason that I want you to understand, Kara. Why are many of you awake to this? Many of you why are you here? Why am I here? You're not here to end up living in total hell. You've been there. You've been doing it for many of your lifetimes. The reason you're here right now and why you're awakened is because you're here to anchor that amazing, powerful energy that is you, the creator that is within you, that's magnificent. They need you to create. The distorted light cannot create because it's distorted. It is an opposite. It needs the creator light, which is the true light. All light is needed for creation. Therefore, the moment that you are feeding the illusion, it's because of you. Every time you are feeding the beautiful 5D, it's you. So which playground do you want to play on? If you are so sick and tired of all the lies on media, quit looking. Quit playing in that playground. I'll use the buffet again and again because it's the greatest analogy that I can give. You go to this amazing buffet and it has some of the world's most renowned chefs there. There's every kind of salad, every kind of dessert, every kind of meat dish, or vegetarian or vegan, whatever you're playing in. Are you taking your plate and picking up the crap you don't want? No. It's that simple. Are there things you don't know about that you'd like to try out because you're interested? Yep. And you're going to have it. And you don't have to eat everything that's on your plate. Broken mind trap. You take a taste of it, you decide whether you like it, whether you don't, or you're not sure. This is called critical thinking. This is everything with it. What brings you joy, Kara? Right now. What brings you joy in this very moment, that instead of the ball rolling so far forward in hate and loathing and disgust, what is it right now as the creator that you are that creates this instant slowdown, takes it back to the creator mode of what you want to create? Is there someone that you know that you love having conversation with, that you can begin texting or call or whatever to begin a conversation that helps you move forward and feeling good? And by the way, if you're not in that place of feeling good and you want to be a fun sponge, don't call, because they don't need it either. If you're in a place of being in that place of the illusion and feeding the illusion, the only way you're getting out of it is you. The only way you can get out of it is, number one, starting with, let's use for an example, one of the greatest sunsets that I've ever seen in my life was actually outside of my window at home. And I've been to many islands and I thought those were the most beautiful sunsets. But I know from where I am standing, anywhere in the world, the moment that I'm seeing the sunset from that perceived view, it's magic to me. And no one else gets to see it look like that, even if they're right beside me with the camera. So this is the easiest place that pulls me back to my center of knowing the beauty that is shown exactly just for me. So Kara, what specific things have you seen just for you? Whether it was a flower or a butterfly or a dragonfly or a sunset or the sun coming through the clouds in a special place, the rain on your face, where is it right now where you can start to feel good back into remembering or the memory of that beauteous feeling and sight? This then gets the ball rolling as you're breathing deeper, as you're sitting into that meditative place. And what is it that you love to do, Kara? What things bring you joy? Do you have hobbies? Do you have certain things that you love to do that are hands-on, or that are in a mental focus or physical or spiritual, where that you have that mental clarity, that you have that emotional stability. These are 4 things that you can play into right away that will completely change your trajectory and start feeding the creation of creating happiness instead of feeding what it is that is in the illusion. I hope this helps you a lot, Kara, and every one of you viewers that's been watching, because in this world right now, it is very apparent that everything that you have been taught is a lie. You know that everything that you are watching around you has been distorted. It's inside out, upside down, and backwards. And who cares who believes that is normal to them? All that matters, it is not to you. So become the creator of the world you want. Become the creator of what it is that you bring an anchor here now. Number 1, the first place to get to is centeredness. If we aren't stable and centered, we aren't there to help anyone. We are just adding to the chaos. So what is it? Whether it's deep breathing, whether it's going outside, grounding. I love walking. I have a dog, and he, of course, enjoys walks as well. And I'm doing them several times in the day now because it just feels so good. I love being outside. I love my gardening. I love my flowers. I love my lawn. I love my trees. They're all my babies, and they bring me so much joy. And just by hugging a tree, seriously, sitting back to a tree, laying on my hammock, listening to the birds, feeding my birds, oh my God, this brings me so much joy because I'm a part of that joy. They aren't separate from me. I'm observing myself, observing all this beauty, and I know that I'm a creator part of this. And that is the Christed consciousness of you, Kara. This is the power. This is the key. So if I were to say anything to you, quit playing in that playground. You don't enjoy it. It's a merry-go-round. You're feeling dizzy. You're feeling sick. Get off. Go find a playground you want to play in. And I'm telling you, there's many others that are looking for like-minded people to help build each other up, support each other up. Is there a buddy system that you can create with each other that when one is down, the other one starts creating that support forward, and vice versa? Is there a group of it? Do you have a meditation group that you can go to? Do you have anything online that you can go to? There's so much for you to do, but you have to become the responsible action of creating the change you want to see. I'm not playing in 3D, therefore I'm not interested. Anyone is allowed to think and feel whatever they want. That is what they're creating, but they're not welcome in my story. I'm very secure in who I am, in my devotion of who I am, because only I can be devoted in giving myself the time, the space, and the presence for that. Dreamer Divine, what would you like to say to Kara and any other viewers out there?
Kara, like I said, we've all been there. We've all experienced the chaos of that feeling of I'm done. I've had it. I want off this planet. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be a human anymore. And honestly, it's real. And you're allowed to feel those feelings. It's just, I suggest just not to hold on to them for too long, because like Tracy said, staying in that same spot and being angry and being frustrated just doesn't feel good. And it doesn't help you move forward. Honestly, there's so many people feeling the exact same way as you. So you're definitely not alone at all. One of the funniest things that I remind myself is that we signed up for this. When you came here, you signed a contract to be here and experience all the things that you're experiencing right now. And only you did that. So I always laugh because I remind myself, I did this to myself. I chose this. And it makes me laugh because I feel crazy sometimes for wanting to put myself through this. But at the same time, you did it because you wanted to learn something and there was something you wanted in this experience. And I definitely recommend, like Tracy said, finding a like-minded person. One of my best friends is amazing. We bring each other up when we're feeling frustrated or we're in these places of I'm just done. One of us is always in that place, and we just bring each other up from that. We'll send some messages, see how we're doing, check in, and we'll always listen and validate all of our feelings because we're allowed to feel each how we feel. Doesn't matter if we agree, it doesn't matter if we don't, but we definitely bring each other back up to that 5D level and keep reminding each other that we're almost at the finish line and that we are our own creators and we need to focus on what we want, not what we don't want.
That was very beautiful, Dreamer Divine. And a buddy system, if that's what you need, really, really works. Or many, many. And you're allowed to feel what you're feeling. It's not a lie, but it's not yours to own. It's yours to move through, break through. And that's the biggest part. Yes, many people are saying continually, I don't want to play in this anymore. But we need to understand one basic as well, that we are on a prison system. This was taken over and a veil shrouded around it, and many, many forms of top lip bombs, anomalies that were through the etheric planes and put through many, many people were put in place on purpose. Our beautiful beings of light weren't here to watch from the sidelines saying, ha ha ha, this is your free will, you created it. That's a lie. That is a blatant lie. We are the many, many alliances, Earth Alliance as well as Space Alliance, and many of our beautiful beings of light are clearing everything they can. So one of the biggest things I can say to you is, do you need to know what a top lip bomb is? Do you need to know what certain things are, other than this might be the first time for you? But to understand that one top lip bomb, if it were to be detonated, would include our whole universe. They would then affect everything else because we are one and the whole. So the greatest thing, whenever you are feeling in this place of discord, feeling so frustrated, so many things, is to know it is beyond your imaginings, the depths of darkness, of pure evil that has been going on for a very, very long time. And the darkest of the darkest have been taken out. This is truth. This is what's been spoken on many, many levels. It's the last of what was put into place to keep that veil, to keep our beautiful beings of light through that whole process. But know that no matter what, nothing can stop the event, the heartbeat, the galactic heartbeat, that it happens no matter what. But there are many things on many levels that had to be put into place. Number one, not to shift us from our pole axes like has always happened and caused a major cataclysm. Gaia Sophia wanted all of her inhabitants to ascend with her. You were chosen in this lifetime to be here. And if it was to get to a certain place and then you go home, then you go home. But many of you signed a contract to get past that, to become the creators of the new world, who are honoring beautiful Sophia, Gaia, Earth, Terra, whatever you feel within you. That's why you are here, having a human experience here on this plane, because this isn't your first time. You are very much connected to Gaia. She's a part of you. And so in the toughest of the toughest times, remember, you have such amazing gifts. I see inside you, Kara, that you have a give a shit attitude, because that is the truth that you have sat in And when we understand that the strongest that we feel is peace, not anger, not hate, that is weak. And it's been easy to go to that place than it is to be in a place of peace. And that is why so many people have had a hard time to be able to center themselves as the calm in the storm, as the peace that you are, because that has an amazing contagion, more contagious than any 3D illusion that you have out there. Peace, joy, calm, love, grace is a massive play card. So whatever you need to do, all of you that are viewing, in order to keep your peace, that's one of the greatest things I say, is whatever situation I am in, I center myself and I observe. And if on any level I begin to feel off or feel distortion that I'm starting to buy into because I'm going to start feeding it, I stop it, I pull back because my peace is more important. And it's no different anywhere. You have been taught a broken mind trap, and that is to be courteous to everyone. I'm sorry, if you have shit spewing out of your mouth, nothing but lies, and you believe them, and I know they are not a truth to me, I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to change the subject. Because I'm going to give you a chance to pull yourself out of yourself and begin again. And I do the 3 strikes, depending on who I'm dealing with or what situation. And again, if that person is trying to bait you, manipulate you into that is not good or happy or joyful for you, I will stop the conversation again and try to change it onto a different course of action. And if again it doesn't happen, it's like, you know what, I'm sorry, I've got to go. And does anyone need to know why? They don't. You don't ever have to explain your actions to anyone. It's no different than being on the phone. Or, there's a reason why there is caller ID. And if you can feel, and as an empath, that all of you have inside you when you start tuning in through your heart, you can feel if you feel like engaging or not. And that is your God-given right, is to decide for yourself what you feel like playing into. Because it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with you. That's the paradox. Where are you going to play? You can love someone so much and wish them the greatest life, but not want them to be a story in yours that you are writing. And it is perfectly fine, because guess what? I am you. You are me. We are all one, having different avatars that we are playing in for the purpose of expansion. Therefore, do I respect absolutely everyone? Yes. Just because they don't disrespect me doesn't mean anything. Unless I choose to play in it, then it's part of me. But when you respect yourself, you honor yourself, then you can't help but respect and honor everyone else. It doesn't mean that they have to be a part of the story you're playing in, because if they don't know how to play with you, no different than children learning to play with each other or share their toys or have that magnetic attraction. If they don't, they don't. Minute, moment, or a lifetime. You just move through it. I think it's so cool today, and it's always on purpose, that both of these questions, although very different, always end up with sameness. And it has everything to do with happiness. And this is really what this podcast is about, is deciding for yourself in every form, mentally, clarity, the emotional stability of sitting in it, the physical, the spiritual part of aspects of all that you are, of knowing at the end of the day, you have the right to be happy at all times. Is there things that bring you sadness? Absolutely. But you can be happy to allow yourself to feel. You can be happy with yourself with every choice that you're choosing Are every choice you're choosing always good or feel good? Not necessarily, but at the end of the day, you can sit and go, I'm happy with the way that I moved through this, or that I spoke in this, or I pulled away from this. And those are the things that you should be taking a look at and sitting in. Are the actions really who I am? Or were those actions what I felt I had to be for someone else? Those are the true, simple places to sit in every moment. Is what I'm seeing here, does this feed me joy? Is this bring me happiness or more clarity or whatever? That's another part of this, of what you're looking at, because some of the truth you're not going to want to see. You're not going to know how to digest it, because you seriously have no idea how evil has been. And the more distorted they became, because it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, getting deeper and deeper, to the point that these beautiful beings of light, who are us, became so distorted they don't even know. They don't even know anymore. And so this helps me, knowing that the evilest of the evilest that were taken out are actually cocooned in a form of stasis now, that are being brought back into the full love of who they really are. And I'm here to tell you, as they are having their awareness come back from all the distortion that was so heavily fractaled in their energies on every levels, they want to die a million deaths for the things they've done. And so for me, I send them even more love, even more acceptance without judgment, now that they have been saved from this plane, this distortion. And that is where I sit in, knowing that I have first world problems. Seriously, right here. I am a divine being of light. I am so grateful for absolutely every interaction of love that I have, because every person I meet, I am making love with. It's our idea of love with each other, and that is beautiful. And to know that right here, right now, is the only way that we are creating our next set of moments. So when you can't sit in that place of understanding that I'm feeling distorted or upset, or I'm feeling frustrated, or I hate, sit in it. Do you hate, or you're just feeling so strongly what you do not want? So how do I transmute this? How do I transmute this to what I want? So it's no different. It's super simple. You've got a channel changer. You're clicking through TV shows and you see a horror coming on and you think, oh my God, this is awful. You don't change it right away. So you transmute it with love and transmutation, so that the greatest frequencies can harmonize every situation and you move on. The more you start doing this, in being able to be the transmuter or the alchemist, you're able to look at every situation in a place of unconditional love, allowing love to do what it needs to do to fix it, harmonize it, change it, transmute it on whatever level it needs to be. You stay committed in the place of transmutation instead of being baited into what you don't want. I've had some pretty huge realizations with some of the most beautiful people that I've worked with all over the world, and some of the most traumatic experiences they've experienced in life that not one of you ever want to even have a bad dream about. And the greatest thing that has them alive here today was being able to take their power back, to be able to let go of the memories so that they don't keep feeding the past into their now, so that they realize right here and now that they are amazing divine beings here on purpose. And their story has changed many people's lives, to give them hope, to give them a peace of not feeling alone in it, and knowing that they feel safe enough now from the despair they were in to change this course of their life. There's always someone going through an absolute awful time. And when you are in that place of feeling the pity party, I want you to go back to the memories of many of you have watched someone you love dearly fight a fight and finally release and get to go back home. And although the part of you that feels jealous or sad or upset that they've left you, you remember through the memories of what you watched them fight through. When you're having what you think is a shitty day, you know there's someone out there that needs more love, and that is you. And that it makes you want to give love to others, because we know love is the only thing that changes this plane, because love is all. Everything else is an illusion. So the more love you feed into in this moment, whenever you're feeling that frustration, hug yourself first, love you first, and do what makes you happy, whether it's in your thought process, the feeling process. I want to feel joy more than anything. So why would I not want to be the creator of my feelings of joy? I do that for almost 75% of my day now, because joy is powerful and it's fun. It's like telling someone they get to have sex, but you don't ever get to have an orgasm. That's a broken mind trap. Every one of you is allowed, is worthy of feeling the utmost amount of joy, abundance, creation, excitement, peace, because that is what love is. So remember, you are either playing into what love is, or you're playing into what love is not. And in those places where love isn't, feed it love. And if they don't know how to reciprocate, then that's how you create those boundaries. And so this goes with all relationships. This goes with everything we're talking about today. I love you all so very much. I am so grateful that many of you had started asking for me to create these podcasts. And I'm so grateful for every one of you that is following, that is viewing, whether it's the first time you've ever come on, whether I know there's some of you that have watched intently all 14 that we'll have today episodes. I thank you so very much. I love your feedback. I love how you're really starting to sit in it and change the course of your life, because it is you that is the power of all that you are. Dreamer Divine, what would you like to say to all of our viewers today?
Just want to say thank you again. We are so very grateful for you sending in your questions and just for listening and being here with us. And I wish you the most amazing week ahead. And yeah, have a beautiful day.
Awesome. It's all 100% in you all the time. It's always on you. So be responsible. It doesn't mean you have to be serious. Be responsible for everything coming out of your mouth. Be responsible for every action you are doing, because it's on purpose. And I hope that you can decide to be your joy right here, right now. See you next week.